Yo.
Don't talk back
to your mama
podcast.
Okay, ready? Let's go.
Yo,
You ready?
baby, let's get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
5, 4, 3,
2, 1.
Welcome back to Don't Talk Back to Your Mama podcast, where we share our views on being an entrepreneur family and so much more. I'm LaTanya.
I'm Amari.
And I'm Sierra.
So, how are you guys doing today?
Amazing.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm really excited. Good.
Why are you so excited?
Such in a good place right now. Things going well. Exciting news, good things going on, lots of wins. So yeah, I'm in a good place today.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good too.
You too?
I feel refreshed for sure. It's been like a long 2 weeks, so I'm just happy that there's no stress or bad news today.
That's a win. That's always a win.
And I'm feeling even better because we have Cheyja Andrews here with us today. And that's Shea Butter, our hostess with the mostest.
How's everybody doing?
And she's here today just to talk to us about her entrepreneurial spirit, her Speak Life experience, and basically she's our friend, our homegirl, our loved one. So this is about to be so exciting.
Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited to be here.
About time.
Yes,
I mean, it shouldn't have taken how many episodes is this? 13, 14, 15. It's like the 16th episode. First of all, it's like the 16th episode.
It happened exactly when it was supposed to, so I'm excited to be here.
Your timing is perfect.
Timing is perfect.
Timing is perfect. You look beautiful as ever.
And how are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. I am feeling amazing as always. So hopefully I'm infectious to everybody I walk by today, because I want them to feel amazing too.
Hopefully it's rubbing all off on us today.
Yes.
Yes. Enough beauty in the room. Yes.
And just tell them a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, just your journey, just a little, tidbit.
Yeah, so I'm Cheyja Andrews. I went to Virginia State University. Shout out to all my Trojans, the orange and blue. So I studied for psychology originally when I went to school, and then I started into the venture of radio shortly after. I taught for about 3 years. I was a teacher. Then I went into radio. Went into radio for about 5 to 6 years. Then I left radio, started touring with the R&B artist Chris Brown. I was on tour with him. After I came off the tour, I started at my own company, which is called Do You Speak Our Language? And I wrote an emotional intelligence curriculum called Speak Life. That's where Speak Life was created from, was Do You Speak Our Language? My company was originated because of the artist and celebrity world that were dehumanized by the media and were dehumanized by the fans and the people, and no longer looked at as just being human. The thing, which is their gift that they're supposed to use and give to the world, they are now being looked at and judged on their entire life. And it was never supposed to be that way. And it is a really, really difficult, challenging, and a struggle for them as celebrities to do this. And I've gone back and forth to court with Chris. And so I originally wrote the emotional intelligence curriculum, which is called Speak Life, because of him. That was how I wrote that. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's dope. I didn't even know that. That's so funny. So backstory, she is actually one of my mother's close friends, best friends.
Yes.
But I definitely did not know that.
Yes.
And it's so crazy. So you felt like artists should be separate, like their personal life should be completely separate from their music.
Yes,
or
most definitely.
artistry.
I mean, when you think about it, every single solitary day, think about our lives being on a camera. Mm-hmm. Think how you would feel if our lives were constantly, consistent basis on a camera, mm-hmm. for the world to see, for them to view us, for them to judge us through our mistakes, through our wrong choices, through how we raise our children, through how we parent, through how we are being parented. That would be a hard way to live, and they were never supposed to give us that part of them. People are like, oh, their platform, they're supposed to be an example, they're supposed to be this, that, and the other. Listen, no, they didn't. They never promised you that. They are here to share with you their gift. Their gift can be singing, rapping, dancing, whatever it is that their gift is. My gift is speaking life. My gift is marketing. My gift is public relations. That's what I'm sharing with you. But the choices that I make, the mistakes that I make in life, the challenges that I have in life are not meant to be judged and criticized by the world. That's not what I'm offering you. I'm not offering you that service, and neither are they. But somewhere along the way, people kind of misconstrued, and they started to judge them based off of that. So when I wrote Speak Life originally, I was actually going back and forth to court with Chris, who had gotten in trouble because of the accusation of assaulting somebody in Washington, D.C. area and breaking his nose. And he spent about 9 months in prison. And I was going back and forth to court with him and just hearing the things that the media would say, the people would say, fans were saying, and they were saying, oh, your stage is supposed to be used as a platform for you to be an example for other people. But who said that?
But how can you not? How can you separate the two? Because think about it. You come from the radio world. You guys interview people all the time. And sometimes things are not off limits.
Right.
So I think that I hear what you're saying. I do. I wish we were able to have private lives when you're on a platform or when you're highly exposed to people and things like that. But the reality is, I don't know if you can really separate the two.
I mean, the reality is that people are living in a judgmental world, period.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I get judged every single day. There are people who don't know me at all, but do not like me.
Yeah.
And have no reason for not liking me, and will tell you they don't have a reason for not liking me. But that is why it is so important. And I heard Mari say today, I know who I am.
Yeah.
And that is one of my major mottos, that the power is knowing who you are.
Yeah.
That is how you walk in your authority. That is how you walk in your power, because then it no longer becomes about the outside world.
Yeah.
But most celebrities have not been really taught to do that.
That's the problem.
That and not just celebrities, most people
They haven't been
have not been
taught
taught
to do that. And
Right.
not to be able to allow anything to get in your mind and
Yes.
start changing who you think you are, and start making you start to really look at yourself like, well,
Yes.
maybe I'm not that great.
Maybe I'm not that
because
great.
people begin to tear you down. So I agree with that part, and I love Speak Life. Can't wait to talk more about that. But I want to hear more about you going from, she was going to be going to psychology.
Psychology, and it actually
And then-
all played a part.
It does, but you also went into radio. You went into one of the most high profile kind of,
Media outlets.
correct.
I did.
What
So
shift did that change?
So I actually went into 3 years of teaching right afterward, and I
Teaching
went
where?
into specialized youth services. I was teaching at a special education school, which was a day school.
Did I know that, or did I guess that in my mind? In my mind, I'm like, why she did a special? I don't know. I don't think I knew that. I think in my mind I was expecting it.
And my entire life has really been right on time. It has been a circular motion of exactly where I'm supposed to be to this day. Everything has played a part in it, and that's why I said it is important to trust the universe, trust how God brings you into the things that He brings you into, because every single time, wherever you're going to end up, wherever you're going to land, the universe is going to push you through to that. Your experiences are going to push you to that. And they're not always great experiences, but it's going to depend on you.
Absolutely.
How your experiences end up, because if it's got to push me this way because I'm out of alignment. Now think about how your car is when it's out of alignment. When your car is out of alignment, your car is shaking.
Correct.
Your car is wobbly. Your car might move over to the other lane. Now, it doesn't stop the car from driving, but you don't have as much power as you normally would have. You don't have as much control as you normally would have. So when you are not in alignment with the universe, and listen, I'm not religious and not one bit. You call him the universe, you can call him the spirit, you can call him the inner being, you can call him God, you can call him Holy Spirit, whatever it is that you want to call him, the creator. Whatever the creator has set for you, the alignment of that creation. When you are not in alignment at that thing, that experience, every experience you can have is going to push you toward that alignment, to get back into that alignment. And you will know when you are in that alignment. And when I tell people now about alignment, when you ask me about being in alignment, how do you know when you're in alignment? because it's no force.
Yeah.
It's the path of least resistance. Anything that you have to fight for, force, make happen, manipulate, lie, all of those things to get is not yours. They don't belong to you. They do not belong to you. The things that are yours will come easy. It will be a flow. And see, we are so used to fighting for things. I grew up, my mom will tell you, one of my things is fighting. I grew up fighting. My family fights. My mother grew up, it's 8 of them. It was 4 brothers, 4 sisters. She grew up in West Philly. My dad grew up in Florida. He was very, very smart, but he was also, I call them CEO thugs.
Yeah.
He and his entire side of his family, they fight.
Wow.
So I grew up at 2 years old fighting. I have been fighting from the time I can remember. It just comes easy for me to physically fight because I can make somebody do something. So it was a challenge for me to find my power outside of the physical force. And it's like, Cheyja, you don't have to fight for everything. And I always believe that me protecting myself, me covering other people, me showing up always looked like a fight. And I had to give that up. And see, when we're used to doing something, it becomes a dysfunctional pattern. This is the way we're used to doing things. So now it's natural. It's natural for me to do this way. What do you mean that this isn't right? Because of course this is right.
You've been doing it that way.
I've been doing it this right way for so long. Why wouldn't it be right? So I ended up going into radio. I went to church.
You went to church.
I was going to church.
Ooh, okay.
Man, you're going to church. You think that's the right way of doing things. You know, you think you're going to learn things. But listen, you get the same judgment in all of the worlds that you enter into, including the church. And I believed at one point in time that the church was not going to do that or give me that. Oh yeah, I was looking for acceptance. I've been looking for acceptance probably my whole life, probably since I was young and just didn't realize it. I don't even think I really even noticed that I had a thorn in my side, which my thorn was rejection. I always say we always have a thorn. Some people call it Achilles heel. We always have something that plagues us that tries to hold on to us, and mine was rejection. Now, people wouldn't believe it was rejection because I was so popular. They're like, oh, your parents is in the Air Force, you got money, you're a cute girl, you know, you're a popular girl. How is it that you struggle with rejection? But somewhere along the way in my, even being as young as 3, rejection showed up in my life. And see, when you have a strong personality, and I know those people with strong personalities, like my real daughter over here, Cheyja, you know, man, we can get plagued easy because people think we can take it. They automatically think they have these strong personalities, or they can take it. I can say this to them. And a lot of times when insecurities are in other people, they try to tear other people down to make themselves feel better. And they find that outwardly pushing out their outward emotions to make themselves feel better is what has worked for them. And so they do it. They have done it. They've done it for so long. So in return, my thing is physically fighting you because I know I can fight you. I'm gonna fight you if I can't beat you. Listen, if you gonna jump me, I'm gonna get out the car and get jumped because I'm coming. Because in my mind, I'm invincible. Oh, I gotta fight for everything. So God had to restructure my mind to let me know that the power is not in the physical fight.
No.
It's not in the physical fight.
Definitely not.
It's in what Mari said today, knowing who I am. And it took me time to learn that. I went through radio, did radio, came through Radio 1 Richmond. It was a lady at my church who saw me. She said, oh my goodness, you know, you have the radio light, you have the radio bug. She said, you should come and start shadowing me. I started shadowing this Richmond known radio personality, and she took me into some of the events that she was doing, and I started actually calling Reggie B, who was the Praise 104.7. He's on Praise 104.7 now, or he used to be, but he was also on Power 92 at the time, and I started calling him because being in church, something in my mind made me think that I needed to go the church way. I'm like, oh, I need to get on the gospel station. I'm like, that's the only way I'm like, I need to get on the gospel station. This is the only way I
Which
can
is
stay
completely
true.
opposite from your
Which is-
actual
I mean,
personality. So this is all so
completely-
funny.
This is interesting.
But the thing about it, so I was going to church and I'm thinking like, I'm going to church and doing this whole church thing and I'm thinking that I gotta stay in this church world to be right? So to be in this box of staying righteous or staying committed to God or keeping God happy.
Wow.
Because that's what we were being taught. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do it this way. So Reggie B, you know, after probably a year or 2 years passed by, he was encouraging me. So he finally said, hey, why don't you talk to our national production person? His name was Jay Carneal, white guy. White, sexiest voiced guy ever in the whole entire state. Shout out to Jay Carneal. Jay started talking to me. Jay didn't know me from Adam, but he started talking to me every single day on the phone. And Jay said, listen, he said, he told me one day after us talking for months and months and months and him telling me about how he came up and how he got in radio. He said, there's some openings on the street team. Now, mind you, at the time I was teaching, I was making about, this was years ago, so I was making about $35,000 a year as a teacher. And so he told me, won't you come in as a street team? He said, they only make about $8 an hour. Now, this should tell y'all how long ago this is. He said, they only make about $8 an hour. And he said, I said, well, okay. At the time I was married, my husband had his own business. So I said, well, we can afford it. Let me talk to my husband. So I finished with teaching. I went into radio. I started as a street team. This will tell you about the plan of God. So less than 1 year, I moved from street team to making $8 an hour. I moved to becoming a board op. Then I moved in from becoming a board op to being the entertainment news person. Shout out to Rodiga, who named me Shea Butter. Rodiga named me Shea Butter. I started doing entertainment news for her on Power 92. And then right after that, I went and I was doing a commercial. I was doing a remote one time. The remote with Hardee's, and the on-air personality had gotten in a car accident. And my operations manager called. He said, Shay, it was Al Payne. I loved him. And he said, Shay, I need you to do this commercial for me. He said, do this callback for me from where you are. I said, no, I can't. On the radio? I'm like, live? I can't do that. I'm like, no. He said, Shay, just get on there and be yourself. Talk about where you are, what you're doing. And so I got on there, I blew it out the water, and it has been, history ever since. Shea Butter was born. I started being on the air. I moved from being a street team personality making $8 an hour to a full-time promotion director in less than 1 year.
That's awesome.
I was able to do it,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
So I went to my first BET Awards, VH1 Awards, went to things like the Grammys, and of course was meeting all types of celebrities. Met Chris Brown when he came in. He was officially on our Rust Bus tour that we used to have a long time ago on Power 92.
That's real old.
He was we were actually at BK Music, if you remember BK Music. We were out there in the parking lot of BK Music. We did a stage out there and Chris Brown was on there. And I remember when I saw that little boy, I was like, oh man, he's a cute little boy. I was like, I don't see him going long though. I was like, but he's cute and look at him now. And I tell him this story to this day. I just didn't think, because his voice was so young, and I just thought, I was like, man, this may be another, kind of one-hit wonder thing. And but I got close with his family, his mom and his aunt. They eventually ended up asking me to come on the road with them to tour. I eventually left radio. When I did finally leave touring, I came back. I realized that everything that I was doing in the entertainment industry, I could do on my own. I had met, some amazing people on the road. I was on a tour with an A-list celebrity, so I met people from all over that I still have as contacts and friends and relationships to this day. And I created my own company, and so it's called Do You Speak Our Language, Dysol. And I started Dysol because of Chris and the dehumanization of celebrities and how they were treated, and trying to find another way for us to speak life to each other, because it matters. The judgment just doesn't come for celebrities. We're judged every day.
Absolutely.
We judge ourselves. We judge each other. and then we judge the outside world. And we are creators, so however we create is what we're putting out in this world, is what it becomes. The world is what we say it is. We are what we say it is. God gave us the power to create. We are literally creators. He is a creator. He created us to be a creator. So whatever we give meaning to, it is what it is. And to just give you a funny example, I had a pimple right here this morning, right? And I was putting, you know, and so I had my pimple. I was like, I said, you know what? Today, this is gonna be a mole. And I took the pencil and I put the pencil on top of the pimple, and I was like, I said, yep. And even in that small moment, as funny as it was to me, I realized it is whatever we call it. If I call it in this moment, this is my mole, this is gonna be my mole. If I say it in this moment, but see, what we give meaning to shapes our perception.
But also,
sorry, go ahead. You sure? Oh, okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. But it's so funny that you say that, because in my mind, right, like everybody thinks I'm judgmental, everybody thinks I'm straightforward. I think that's the general consensus. But like, people think when you're judgmental to them, like when I'm judgmental to them, that they have to attack me 10 times harder. But what they're not realizing is I've judged myself probably like 100 times.
And that's why you judge
by
them.
this time. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm judging people just as hard as I judge myself. I'm not being like picking you out of the room and saying I'm about to judge you. No, in my mind, there's a level of like perfection, or like, I don't know, every little thing has to be perfect to me. So yeah, I definitely feel that. It's so crazy you say that. And then like, even when like I feel like other people are judging me, or let's say something bad happens to me, I have to make a joke about it first. I have to own it first, because that's my like defense mechanism. Like, it's like, before you can pick on me, I'ma pick on me. You get what I'm saying? But people could probably not even be thinking about it at all. It's so crazy. So it's like, how do you train your mind to like speak life to yourself? Like, how do you avoid those thoughts? I'm just curious.
So judgment is one of the things, and the reason that we do it with other people is because we do it with ourselves first. So it's, you know, for people who do read the Bible, in the scripture it says that as you judge, you shall be judged. Now, why it says as you judge, as you shall be judged, is because whatever you put out, the law of attraction, it says already that you'll get back. So it's not God judging you, it's you judging you. But because you put that out into the world, you reflect that back to yourself. So the first thing I had to do in order to start knowing who I was is I had to start judging me. And that was more difficult than anything ever. And because we are so hard on ourselves, I had to tell myself it's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay if I've been here before. It's okay if it's taken me a long time. Because see, the thing about Source, he never sees us any different way. See, and that's what love does. Love, unconditional love holds a space for you. It holds a space of this perfection of, Mari, I've created you this way and I can't see you any other way. This is who God is. He says, I cannot see you any other way but the way I've created you. That is the Source saying, I hold this space for you. So then he puts inside of you Holy Spirit, which Holy Spirit says, now I'm here to lead and guide you. So now you have an inner being living on the inside of you to help you remember this space. He's there to help you recall that space every time you lose it, but he never forgets it. It's us. So when we feel ourselves feeling anxiety, resentment, nervousness, stress, some people go into mental health disorders of schizophrenia, bipolar. They create other worlds because this world that I've been in for so long has caused them so much pain. They have now shifted over to another world. And see, this is the part of psychology that is now in me, because I study psychology. So I got a degree in psychology. Then I got certified in life coaching. Then I got certified and qualified mental health professional for adults and children. So my whole entire life has worked together as a full circle moment for me to come to this space to help entertainers, to help celebrities, to help people in general to know who they are and to allow that light. And I only come as a reminder. If we watch all of the movies, like superhero movies, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, in those movies, they never knew who they were. And always in the movie, they always end up going back and showing the part of the story of when they were a baby and how it started and what happened and how they were given something. Like with Superman, he was given that the cryptos thing, and they were in and he had to, you know, he had to go back to remember it, and he saw his parents. So it's always something that comes to remind you this is the power, and it's something that makes you come to yourself to say, this is who I was all along. You mean I've had this power in me all along? If you think about the Wizard of Oz, they gave her the brain, they gave her the heart, and they gave her the courage. It was 3 things. You got 3 people who didn't have these 3 things. And then in the story of not having those 3 things, all of those people exhibited those 3 things. The wizard told her at the end, the good witch, she told her at the end, she said, listen, you've had the power in you all along. It's not in the shoes. It was never in you clicking your heels and saying, you know, there's no place like home. It's always been in you.
I agree with that part.
But a lot of times we need something tangible as humans to be able to say, hey, I got it, now I got it. Okay, I need this cake, I need this web, I need something tangible, because as human beings, it doesn't click in our mind that we would just be as powerful as we are. But it's in your divine nature to be who you are. It's already in you. It's at the moment that you realize it, you become aware. And I always talk about the stages of becoming aware. First you become aware, and as you become aware, once you start to believe it. Once you go from believing it, you go from believing it to knowing it. Then you go from knowing it to becoming it. Then you go from becoming it to being it. Then you go from being it to source. Now I am the very source that I've been waiting on. I'm the very source that I've been praying to. I'm the very source that I've been waiting to come and save me, waiting to do all these miracles. It's me. It's you. The whole entire time, we just didn't realize it.
I think that the point that you're making is, I think what I'm hearing you saying is, the bottom line is we have the power in us. We just refuse to execute it and to use it. I think the other thing is that, you know, sometimes we forget and we have to go back. I know people say, well, the Bible says, and I don't believe in this and I don't believe in that. But whatever it is, and you mentioned all of those options, whatever you believe in, you got to begin to really see that in you. Because whatever you look up to, whoever you believe in, you got to be able to see those same things in yourself as well.
It's you.
And the other thing I think I'm hearing you saying is that when you're growing up, because I know being a mother for them too, they kind of probably got different things growing up to a certain degree. So, you know, some of the things that they may have saw, some of the things that they may have heard me say, or how I've treated them, they've had to, over time, retrain their mind to realize that that wasn't necessarily right. Why would mom and dad say that? That's not right. They just told me that, you know, I think that, because I did it. My parents, I feel like my parents, just like you were saying about you having to fight all your life, you trained to believe that. But the reality is this, no, that's not necessarily true. Everything that you were taught isn't real. It isn't true. I'm going to tell them
it's their perspective.
Yeah.
It is their perspective.
What they got from me, they took and believe. I'm their mom. Why would they not believe me?
Why would they not?
Why would they not believe me? You know? But as you've gotten older, I'm sure you see some things differently. Okay, now you want to sip your water? That there are some things that I have said that I know you said, my mama was not right.
I had to go to a place of forgiving my mom and dad. And the way that I was able to forgive them, because I had to tell myself they did the best that they could at the time with their level of awareness.
That's fair.
So wherever they were in that moment of their experience, they did the best they could. They loved me. There was no way they would have mistaught me knowing. So where my parents would have grown up telling me to shut up, calling me stupid, telling me I was disrespectful, telling me I was bad, telling me things that stayed in my mind.
Which all parents do, because you're not supposed to talk back to your mama.
Yes, which parents do. It is natural. Get over here with your hard-headed self. Yeah. You know, stop doing this. And you are so bad, you're gonna end up in jail like your daddy. Yeah, see, you start saying things to your children.
They start to believe that.
And see, If they get it in their minds and they start to believe what you say,
They're gonna start being that.
they're going to become the very thing that you say. So what I did when I had my child, I made it intentional to speak life to my son. And I speak nothing but life to him. It doesn't matter what he does.
And you're a fairly new mom, so that's good.
He's 19 years old now, but I made sure, and his dad and I divorced at 8 years old. And so I made it my business because I didn't want him to be a statistic. I was like, man, I don't want to stay in this marriage, but I realized I was thinking I was saving him by staying in the marriage, but I realized now when we stay in these dysfunctional relationships thinking we doing it for the kids, you're really showing them the way it shouldn't be done. And you're really showing them what love looks like and dysfunctional. And so it's like, no, you want them to see you in a loving place of being happy, of joy, of peace, of goodness. You don't want them to see this dysfunction in a relationship and call it marriage just for the sake of being married. So I ended up getting divorced, and so I made it my business to speak life to him every single solitary night. So I had a process. My process was called Speak Life, and at night I would put on this music with him. And the music was, it was just like some meditation music. It was not, and we would sit and this was every night before he went to bed, and we would go through the 9 characteristics. These 9 characteristics are the basis of my Speak Life Emotional Intelligence program. It is love, joy, peace, goodness, kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, patience, self-control. It's 9. And these 9 things we would say over and over and over again. And he would say, I am love, I am joy, I am peace. But along with those 9 things, we would say things like, I am a good son, I am a good student, I am intelligent, I am infectious, I am honest. We would say all the things. We would even say things like, I am a good husband, I am a good father. So that when he got to that space in his life, he would already remember that this is who I am. And he would line up to that. And
that's powerful.
That's dope, because it's like no matter what anybody says to you, you know you're a good person, you know you're a good son, you know you're a good husband, whatever. It's like, that's really so dope. Like what do you think? That's crazy.
I want to get into like a little nitty-gritty of
yeah.
So, what are like your views on being an entrepreneur and being in relationships?
So entrepreneurship,
Wait, what's your relationship status first?
Well, I was gonna get into that after she shared her thoughts.
We're gonna
get into the relationship status, but just go ahead.
I'm here for it too. Let's go.
So I've been an entrepreneur now for 10 years. I have been in my own business, and I always say entrepreneurship is not for the weak. And it is not just for the weak in strength, it's not for the weak in your mind. You have got to know that you are an entrepreneur and you are a boss to the core. But see, people use this word boss now, and they use it like it's a cool thing, it's a term of affection, and it sounds good to say, oh, we bosses, we bossing up. But see, a boss really means in all areas of your life. How do you do about talking to yourself? How do you speak to yourself? Because see, that's going to determine how I speak to my staff. That's going to determine how I speak to the people around me. Do I know how to lead? Do I also know how to take, not only the lead, but do I also know how to hear my spirit guiding me? And when that doesn't always look the same way, because we're sometimes used to doing things by repeat and doing things the way it looked before, but all things don't work for all things. That's just it. Sometimes God may have me do something this way. This time he may say, no, we're going to do it this way this time. Can I hear that? And being a true boss is really about being a boss overall and knowing who you are. Do you know who you are? Because that's going to guide every single area of your life. So being an entrepreneur, I was sharing with Tanya today, like, man, I remember because my personality being so strong, and people start always saying to me, you love the spotlight. You love the spotlight. Oh my God, you love the spotlight. And I remember it was something in me that said, I've gotta be humble. I've gotta be humble. I've got to be humble. I don't love the spotlight. I'm like, I don't mind serving. I'm a servant at heart, and I don't mind, holding people's bags and tying people's shoes and getting people water. And listen, and I don't mind doing those things, right? But it was something in me that made me tear myself down to make other people feel good about me.
Trying to please other people.
Because I'm trying to please other people.
But that didn't make no sense, Cheyja.
I'm trying to shift other people's perspective of who I am.
You can't say it don't make sense. That's triggering.
Well, what I'm saying
it makes
is
sense
that,
to some men.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that when you know who you are, there is no way you're going to convince me that I'm
But at the time-
No, that's how she was raised. Like, my mom doesn't understand. She walks in the room with this confidence that I don't even know where the hell she got it from. And she does not understand how, like, me and Mari can be like, obviously, we're confident. I mean, we know we know what we have to offer, but at the same time, we don't walk in rooms and want to be the loudest person or want to be seen. Like, sometimes we kind of like being in the back, or like we don't like being on camera. Like,
But see, our insecurities come out different ways. Hers just doesn't come out the way yours comes out. But she has some, nonetheless.
What are they, girl?
We all have them. And that's the thing.
I don't know.
I'm sure there's
I haven't even seen them. Have you seen them? Which one is
We all have them.
Crazy, Shay, because I be wanting them to do it. No, that's not.
But see, that's us being moms.
But you know what?
Y'all to do better than we've done.
Yes, but that's her strength. That's her defense mechanism. She had to fight her whole life. All she knows is being strong. All she knows is working. She has lived off her survival. She ain't had time to question her existence.
Survivable.
Yes, I don't care.
Survivable all my
You don't
life.
think so?
Girl.
Survivable for a minute.
For a minute. I mean, I'm just talking about from like even childhood to teenagers.
she's right.
Like, I'm
She's
just
right.
saying, like, when that's the only option you have, like, that confidence comes from other things.
But
I think-
insecurities come out in different ways.
Probably does. I gotta
People
think about
would
it.
not have known. People would have had a clue that I was insecure.
But wait a minute. Before we get okay, we still have skipped all.
Oh my God, because Shay, y'all see how Shay just avoided the relationship. So, in relationship.
What's the relationship status?
My relationship status is I am happily single and dating anybody I get good and ready to. I mean, anybody I get good and ready to.
But I thought you said you dating them all.
But
Are you outside? We trying to outside, Shay.
I am dating. I date multiple people if I like them. I have to be able to want to date you. I mean, it's nothing wrong with what I'm single. I want to.
Yeah.
I like to date and I like to enjoy it. But at the end of the day, I enjoy me.
Yeah.
I have myself a good time. I will go out. Tanya will tell you I go out by myself in a minute.
Yeah.
I enjoy me. I am full of joy and I'm full of love. If you don't bring me that, then I won't date you. I won't go out. And I'm not saying yes to everybody. I mean, everybody does not get an opportunity to experience me because there's lots of them that I tell no.
Yeah, I know some.
And it so happens, I've been married. I was married 11 years. I am happily divorced. But if it comes up again and there is somebody that I am able to be in alignment with, that I'm able to create with, but freedom is my number one thing. I want him to be free to be him, and I want to be free to be me. And that's something that I did not have in my marriage.
I love it. I don't think there's no better way to sum this up. I don't think we had enough time with you.
Yeah,
We'll have to bring you back.
We'll see if we'll do a part two. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
See you.
But we're at the part of our segment where
We are gonna go into our segments. This has been too juicy. No, it's hard with your friends and family because that's how it was with parents. It's like we talk on a regular basis. Yeah, we could talk all day if we really wanted to. But I told you a little bit about it. It's our honestly portion, something you're honestly fed up with, something you're honestly happy with. Just you're honestly just to put out there. It could be based on the segment or anything.
Oh, I think definitely what I told Tanya today, what I started off saying. I told her that, you know, somewhere along the way I felt like I had to humble myself. And I had to start saying, oh, I don't like the spotlight, you know, I don't have to be in the spotlight. And I realize now, you know, that I love the spotlight.
Honestly,
the spotlight loves me.
Say it again.
I honestly love the spotlight, and the spotlight honestly loves me.
I love it.
And it's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. So.
My honestly is, I am so tired of hearing people say no more, say less. What is that? It is plucking my nerve. Say no more, say less. Anyway, that's mine. I'm honestly sick of that. Sick of it.
Honestly, my honestly for today is I feel Krishan Rock. You know, I was sitting here before we started filming. I was watching her live and how she was talking about her relationship and how she's pregnant.
Right.
She has all these other things and all this stuff coming up. And you know, I just feel like at the beginning, everybody really was not a fan of Krishan.
Correct.
And thought that she was just this toxic, crazy, you know, off the hinge girl that just needs some help.
Right.
When I feel for that girl, like I just think
Have I not been a Krishan fan for
no, you
for
love
months?
Krishan. I'm talking about the other people. Yeah, Krishan. I love Krishan. She just needs a little love.
Well, maybe the universe will bring me and Krishan together.
Maybe.
Speak some light
We
up.
might need to reach out
Yeah.
to her. I like that, Laura. I'm feeling you on that one.
I can feel that too.
What you got, T?
Honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed you being here, and I hope that we can have you back on because I think that we resonate on a lot of levels, just like as far as like, I don't know, what we think, you know, in our brains.
Yes.
Personally. And yeah, I think that like you really hit it on the nail, honestly, about judgment and judging yourself, and I'll work on that, honestly.
Yes.
Good
I
stuff.
like it. I
Lots
love
of
it.
good stuff. Are we doing our last segment?
Yes.
Let's go.
So, are we gonna take a question from Instagram or no?
Let's take a quick question.
Okay. All right.
What are the people
Don't
have
hate
to
me,
say?
Give me a second.
Is it one of my besties?
Not bestie. Girl, that is crazy.
Is it one of them?
It's taken me years to be very transparent about my life. However, I was just wondering, what advice do you have for another young mom?
Say the question again.
What advice do you have for another young mom? It's hard for her to be transparent about what she's going through in her young mom journey. Is there any one tip that you have for her? I'm not a mom. You a mom? Hell no.
I mean, this is probably something no parent probably would say, but I would say don't raise your child based off of your experiences. Because we do that, and it's not always the best for them. And I try not to do that with my son. I try to allow him to be who he is and to trust his journey, and trust his process like I trusted my own.
My advice would be to a new mom is, because I was one, you're not going to know everything. Do not even worry about trying to get everything right. There is no such thing as everything being right. But one of the things I wish I would have had, or wish I would have known, to be able to have a resource to reach out to. Now, with social media and the way the world has changed now, you can join all type of mummies groups. They have all type of mummies organizations that can really help and develop you as a young mom. Especially if you say if you don't have your mom or a good relationship with your mom, or you didn't get everything you felt you needed, or just because you just want somebody else's perspective. Because I used to watch a lot of my friends and how their moms and dads was, and I thought it was perfect. And now I'm saying, wow, that was so toxic.
Yes.
So
yes.
don't be fooled by everything you see, but get around a group of moms, mummies groups, and get different people's perspectives and find your own way and pull it a little bit from each one, because there is no right way. I love that. Good question.
Yep. That was I'll say it later. So yeah, and then our last segment, what's one thing that your mama told you that you wish you would have listened to?
Oh my gosh.
Life ain't free, and it ain't fair.
Oh gosh, is that yours?
Yes, life is
and
not
life ain't-
free and it's not fair. So if you're gonna go into this world thinking that, you know, everybody's gonna agree, or you're gonna go into it thinking that you're gonna always get your way, it's not that. It's nothing free and nothing is always going to be fair. That's mine. Thank you.
That's good. I
Yeah,
like
what?
that. I do not.
Okay.
You don't have one?
Don't.
I feel that though.
That's okay.
Because when I think about the topic, I'm like, ugh, I don't know what I can say, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I had one today. I was
that I didn't listen to. I mean, I don't have.
you listen to everything your mother said?
I'm sure I didn't. Yeah, I
Oh,
did.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sure I didn't.
Anything today, Amari?
I'll talk back home.
Good. That's a good way to end the show. Well, we want to thank you so much for tuning in today to Don't Talk Back to Your Mama, the podcast. Do not forget to make sure that you visit us on all our platforms. My favorite is Instagram. What's yours?
Tune in to me on TikTok at my name
Is there another one?
Where they finding you at?
Oh, I'm
Well, I
at
like
Sierra Taylor.
Where?
Well, I'm Cheyja_butter_ Cheyja Andrews on Facebook.
And we're on Facebook as well. And remember, go to YouTube, subscribe, join, tag, share, and don't talk back to your mom. Peace.
And cut.